What is an embedded option? What is an embedded option? Embedded option is one which is inbuilt in an otherwise issued security. Embedded option is one which is otherwise, which is included or which is built in otherwise issued security, and that is what is known as embedded option. And it is known as embedded option, and that is because it is embedded in a security. That is why this option is called as embedded option. Let me give you few examples of embedded option, of the securities that have embedded option, and I'm sure then this concept as to what is embedded option will become absolutely clear to every one of you. So the first example that I can give you of an embedded option is of optionally convertible debenture. So remember, we all understand what the debentures are. Uh, Now, a debenture can be convertible, debenture can be non-convertible, debenture can be compulsorily convertible, and debentures can be optionally convertible. So when a debenture is non-convertible, it is a plain simple debenture. There is nothing to worry about it. When a debenture is compulsorily convertible, then also nothing to worry about, because that debenture will get converted into equity as per the terms of the issue of the convertible debenture. Now sometimes a debenture is issued as OCD, optionally convertible debenture. Meaning what? Meaning holder of the debenture has the option to get that debenture converted into equity or not to get that debenture converted into equity. So I'm sure you can see that in case of optionally convertible debenture, there is an option embedded, and that is why optionally convertible debenture is an example of a security that has got embedded option in it. That has got embedded option in it. Number two, second example is of optionally convertible preference shares, and I'm sure all of us are aware that there is this instrument called optionally convertible preference shares. So company is issuing preference shares with an option of converting them into equity based on the option given to holder of these optionally convertible preference shares. So this again is an example of embedded ऑप्शन. सो दिस ये जो ऑप्शन है इस प्रेफरेंस शेयर में कि ये प्रेफरेंस शेयर के जो होल्डर हैं वो इस प्रेफरेंस शेयर को subsequently at later date they can get it converted into equity in case if they so wish, and that is the embedded option in this security. So the security is a preference share, and the embedded option is to get the preference shares converted into equity. This is another example of embedded security. Let me give you one more example of warrants. So warrants are, remember, nothing but they are they are embedded options only. I'm sure all of us know what warrants are. So warrants are what? Warrants are an option issued by a company to the shareholders. Generally, the warrants can of course be issued in many ways. So when a warrant is issued to the shareholders, what does it carry? It carries an option, and what that option is? That option is holder of the warrant can get this warrant converted in certain number of shares of the company. And so you can see very clearly warrant also has an embedded option. So the person who is holding the warrant, he has the choice, he has the option, and that is he can get it converted into equity shares sometime in future as per the terms of issue of warrant. Then you have something, another example of embedded securities is puttable bonds. So we all understand what the bonds are. Bonds are nothing but fixed income securities. And please remember, fixed income securities are called fixed income securities because invariably they give you a fixed income, and that is why they are known as fixed income securities. So a company can issue a bond with a put option, or a company can issue a bond with call option. So what does it mean? It means that in case of puttable bond, in case of puttable bond, holder of the bond has an option. What option he has? Holder of a puttable bond has an option, has a put option, and as per that put option, he can exercise the put option and ask the company to redeem the bonds prematurely as per the terms of the issuance of the puttable bond. Likewise, callable bond is another example of embedded security. And what is embedded security? Or because in case of a callable bond, what is the option? In case of callable bond, the issuer of the callable bond has an option, and what option the issuer has? Issuer has the option that tomorrow, for some reason, the issuer company can call the bonds back and redeem them prematurely as per the terms of the issue of the bond. And sorry, so these are, both of them are examples of embedded securities, and this option to put or option to call is the embedded option, which is embedded in the this bond and this bond. The sixth example, remember, can be a bond which has got the put option and the call option also. So that means a bond has been issued with the put option, and that means the holder of the option have a right to redeem it prematurely. At the same time, issuer of the option also has a right to call the bonds prematurely and redeem them. And this again becomes your example of embedded security and embedded option. So please remember, the security in which an option is built is known as embedded security, and the option which is built into a security, that option is referred as embedded option. Embedded option. And please remember, the many questions can come from this slide. So the first question can come, what is an embedded bond? Second question that can come, what is an embedded security? Third question that can come, out of the following four, which is not an embedded security or which is not an embedded bond? So they can give three options from here and one option which is wrong, and then you will have to explain, you will have to select that one and give the answer. तो अगर आपने embedded क्या है इसकी concept को समझ लिया, तो I am sure you will never have a difficulty in answering a question. And then of course you have a perpetual bond. So remember, there are banks and financial institutions, they also issue something which is known as perpetual bonds. And what is a perpetual bond? Perpetual bond has no maturity, no expiry, so they are issued forever. But invariably these perpetual bonds will be issued with the call option and with the put option. So the perpetual bond which are issued with the call option and the put option are embedded perpetual bond security, and the options which are built into these two bonds, the options which are built in a perpetual bond are referred as embedded option. So friends, this is what your embedded option are, and I'm sure you will have no difficulty at all, and you must be absolutely clear about it as to what the embedded option is, what an embedded security is, and why all these examples that we have discussed, why are these examples of embedded options and embedded security. Just quickly before we close, is a compulsorily convertible debenture also an embedded option? And the answer is no. Why? Because this is CCD, it is compulsorily convertible. So there is no option that the holder of the CCD has, and therefore this is not an example of embedded bond. Likewise, compulsory convertible preference share again is not an example of, does not have an embedded bond, embedded option, and therefore OCPS, CCPS, compulsorily convertible preference share is again not an example of embedded security. I hope that this makes sense to every one of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.